What's up? Good date, Nate? Obviously, from Saturday to where we are today, done a lot of evaluation. One of the good things that we always do is we always try to put the game behind us on Sunday, whether it's a win or a loss. And I just felt the opportunity that the TCU game presented ourselves. We decided to, on Sunday, go through it with the coordinators. They watched the entire film, offensively and defensive, which kind of a change-up. Usually we have a few plays with the coordinators and then their coaches take over. But I made the coordinators watch it, both offensively and defensively with the kids. Watched, obviously, the kicking game. And then we took Monday as a day off by NCAA rules. And then Tuesday came back over and watched it again because I wanted to drive through the points that existed on film. And this time they watched it with their positional coaches. So kind of a double-dip effect to try and get across how important this game was, what we had an opportunity to learn from. We definitely couldn't leave it on Saturday. We needed to go back and revisit. With that being said, it wasn't all negative. There was a lot of positives. I think to see that game unfold, to go into the close to the 2-minute mark and have it to be a 14-7 game, I don't think anybody probably really ever foresaw that for a variety of different reasons, either our offense, their offense, or defenses involved. Just as we looked at the film, I think that one thing jumped out to us offensively. We commonly talk about a 12% rule that we try to hold ourselves to quite a bit. It's been a big emphasis during camp. It's computed by things such as turnovers, penalties, ball control, fumbles, and during practice last week we were under 3% every day. Actually, to get through 3 days of practice and not even get to 12% felt really strong. In a ball game we were at 17%, which we didn't follow through with what we did during practice. Defensively, we had a huge emphasis about getting lined up, being to have yourself in the right position at the right point to be able to execute your job. We did that during the course of the week, and on Saturday we actually got aligned very well. There were very few snaps where our guys weren't in the right position at the right time, but some of us lost track of the assignment they had or the detail of the reaction. Had a higher missed tackle number than we had in all of our scrimmages and all of our in the first game. So what I kind of witnessed on Sunday and Monday, I got a lot of messages from my kids, from our coaches, had a lot of some player meetings. Coach, I'm going to do this better. Coach, I'm going to be better at this. I'm going to get this group playing better for some of our positional leaders. And I had a meeting with him yesterday, and I really wanted to understand this. I don't need a Superman to show up on Saturday. I don't need someone to play at a level higher than they've ever played at. I just need them to play what I've seen them do during the course of the week, and that will lead to good results, and gave them several different points to that effect. I'll also ask my coaches to take great detail in what we're asking certain guys to do. Every player, even within a positional group, certain players do certain things better than the other guy. What we got to do to win games is put our best players in the best position to do what they do best and minimize what they don't do best. So that's been a big point here. May get a little bit over dramatic for you to understand, but that's been really pretty simple, cut and dry. It's not like we need to go out and have a free agency market and get new players or anything like that. We just need to do what we do better as coaches and players. So health-wise, we're actually much better than probably even going into the game week preparation for TCU. We have got a number of guys back that are cleared for practice today, which means they'll get in great work this week and next week at full game speed. We haven't been that way, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Obviously, we always try to withhold information that might be damaging to us in game preparation, but we just haven't been able to practice at full speed on offense the way that we want to, and we're going to be able to do that moving forward. So that's big. Defensively, didn't have anybody of significance. Had some guys with just some nicks and bangs up, but nothing with lost time or anything like that. So very excited about today and tomorrow, the opportunity to get better here, get a jump on A&M. Obviously, they got a game Saturday. We'll add that to our scouting report, and then Sunday we'll get a jump just because we've already got 2 days of prep work in this week already. So that's kind of where we're at. Other than that, I'll open up for questions. Yeah, more than anything, Nate, so J-Red has not been able to practice. We missed him all through spring camp, all through fall camp, and it goes again, wants to show you no matter how much you play, you need to practice and do these things. So he's now cleared for practice today and is very intent on doing that. So I think he's finally gotten to that 100% health. Did some things uncharacteristic on Saturday. I'm very excited to get him because he's our lead dog. And if he can do that, he's going to make us better. But I think working with the one wide receivers, you have him, Jordan Jones, Jonathan Nance, and Deion Stewart. A little bit of maybe some of the other guys, but then with the twos, then you have T.J. Hammond, Davion Warren, Gerard Jones, Michael Petway, and then maybe Tobias Enlow, some other guys that work with that group. But I really wanted to emphasize our ones, working with our ones if at all possible. It's something I really believe in, something we've done in the past. It's just been hard to do that, and settle in more with our ones at tight end as well. So, Jeremy Patton had been kind of in and out with some lower body soft tissue issues, and he's now back 100%, should be able to work with those guys. So Austin Cantrell, C.J. O'Grady, and Jeremy Patton will work with that one offense, working on the timing with Austin as well.
You've been on such a steady climb the first 4 years until I guess how last year ended and then this game. Is this the time where you're trying to be maybe more steady in how you deal with the guys, or do you overreact in terms of how you deal with them, personnel, whatever?
That's a great question. I don't think that we've never stopped going. I understand what you're saying about the last three Power 5 games, I guess what you're talking about. I think, though, too, I always take a kind of a collective moment, and you look at what's happened in college football just in these first 2 weeks, and you look at today's age more than ever, if an offensive team that's playing with tempo gets hot, can erase leads literally faster than it's ever been done in college football history. So I have to be aware of that and understanding of it. But on the same account, our lack of production in the second half offensively, it's something that's very real that we got to be in tune with and have a plan. I felt very good with where we were at, but obviously when it came time to convert in third and fourth quarter, we didn't do it. So that's there. I don't think we ever want to use the term overreact, but I don't want to ever act like if there's something that needs attention, we need to respond to it. And it's me as a coach working with another coach, or myself dealing with a player, or if it means another player getting an opportunity because another one hasn't done it.
Is there something, too, when you go back and look at those 3 games we haven't scored, is there a common denominator with not being able to get the ball?
Yeah, I think too, first, in all of the games, TCU game is a little bit different. In the other 2 games, we had massive production in the first half and did it in the second half. So it's a little bit different. I just kind of concentrating on, we learned from 16, all right, we move forward, where are we at? And in 17, again, we're really in a it's things that as a head coach you don't sit around and, well, I'm kind of concerned about this. We have this many good players there. I mean, we 4 of our 5 best wide receivers are from a year ago, really took all of the reps. And the 5th was Jay Red, and he hasn't been there, So it's literally like starting a whole new group of wide receivers, and at tight end, without Jeremy, obviously you're moving. Austin Cantrell got a lot of reps, but he's a different tight end. Now you're trying to work CJ and Jeremy Patton, who haven't worked a lot. And you unfortunately go through some growing pains, and they're not fun to go through. You don't want them to exist. You don't want to talk about them before they're there. But obviously they're there, and we got to correct them. And I think the ability to make a play when it matters is really big. We I think missed out on several key big play opportunities on Saturday that from an offensive standpoint would have really helped us, and defensively too. We had a number of 3rd and shorts that if we could just make 1 or 2 of those stops, it ends a drive, and it's every player has to play every play at his best.
How much of that is in the running game is an impact from what you just talked about versus the offensive line and maybe some stuff there?
You talk about the second half? Yeah, we talk about losing the wide receiver. You lost a SEC leading rusher, who's now a coach and doing a great job. But you have a second string tailback who is productive as the first one, who's never been in a program for the last month, and obviously Chase Hayden is a guy who we feel really, really good about. Did not like the fact, that he only got the 2 opportunities. So that takes an assessment as well. But running wise, I thought especially in the second half when we hit a big when Austin kind of scrambled for that first down, then we hit 2 big runs. We converted a 3rd and short. I really felt when we got down there near the goal line, we want to be able to just step up and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And that's what I really challenged us offensively is to have what is our red zone goal line pack that we're going to stay with no matter what. Make people adjust to us and feel good about what we're doing, and that obviously takes a little bit of practice and reps during live situation.
How much of the offensive line is a part of that running game?
Well, we want them to keep getting better again, but that first question or whoever asked it, I think from right to left, we're doing some better things. I think the more that we can bring along both tackle spots with consistency will be good. And Ty Clary is going to go through some bumps in the road, but I think we're making progress, and obviously it's not going to get any easier now, but we got to keep moving forward.
Brett Kendrick's a guy that's, I think he went for like 4 snaps Saturday. Is that a guy that
Kendrick Jackson? Yeah, we felt better about the 12 and 11 personnel going into that, but 21 is, I feel really good about both those fullbacks. I thought Hayden Johnson's playing really well in other phases of the game as well. So that's, I think, a package that as we go into the Texas A&M game is something we got to definitely look at.
When you talked about going with those 3 tight ends, is it just like trying to get Patton and O'Grady just on the field more?
Well, I think that, and then also adjusting to the speed of the game. I mean, CJ's played just a handful of snaps a year ago. Obviously, Jeremy coming out of a JUCO situation. Jack Krause fills a limited role as well. And I tell you what, Will Gregg only had 1 rep, but it was a really good rep on Saturday. So you like what he brings to the table. He can definitely catch and run. So I'm excited where that group is, but we do need to be big in big moments. I got after Austin a little bit. He obviously had a holding call, was very, very big, and the last play was a touchdown waiting to happen, but we ran out of bounds. So there's some things there. It's not like, I know this, there wasn't anything on Sunday's film that can't be corrected, and I know that takes time and takes a little bit of patience, and people don't have that in today's world. But it's coaches, we know what it is and what it needs to be.
You mentioned at the beginning in your opening comments that you wanted to see some changes and stuff. Was it like, I remember last year after the bye, you felt the need to kind of interject and make some changes. Is that kind of what you're
We made if I remember right out of the bye week last year, we made some wholesale defensive changes. Just didn't like where it was going and where I thought it needed to go to move forward. I definitely don't feel that way. I mean, it's a 14-7 game with 2 minutes left. I get the end. I get they scored 2 touchdowns, and it ends up being 28-7. I totally get it, but that was a team that I think is going to win some games. That's a good crossover game for us that we were toe-to-toe for, and we didn't sufficiently do what we needed to in all 3 phases. And every phase could have won the game. It was right there knocking on the door, and so it tells me we're not that far off, but we got to clean up those issues and can't ignore them.
When you look at the top 10 this week, there's only one SEC team in there. We all know what team that is.
Yeah.
Is that legit, or do you think that what Bama has done in the last 10 years or whatever somehow skewed what the perception is of the rest of the league?
I really think anything before October, I vote. To me, what I see come out, and the only reason I do it is because they've asked me to vote on the coaches poll. I think people base it more off of what they did last year, who have they played, who haven't they played. Alabama, they deserve to be one and everything all the time until somebody proves them different, I think. How the rest of the world perceives that, I don't know. I do know there's good football teams in their conference, and from what I've gathered and just watched as somebody that's been able to watch a little bit of football on because we had the bye week on that Thursday, so Saturday I got to watch a little bit. It looks like the East has picked up the pace as well. So I think I know this. I moved to this conference for a reason. I want to be the best there is, and this is definitely the SEC in general and the SEC West, in my opinion. That hasn't varied at all.
I know you want to take care of your guys, but with an open date, do you get physical trying to fix the run game and stop the run?
Yeah, I think, Bob, if you sat in any one of our practices compared to what goes on in the rest of the world, we never probably would be ever asked that question. I think we want to get better, and we want to be able to produce. A lot of it isn't so much physicality as being able to strain a little bit longer. I think the part that jumped out there was a couple plays on Saturday where our guys were on the right guys, and if they had held it maybe just a little bit longer, the play might have actually been a touchdown rather than a 10-yard run. And that the difference is so little, but it's just learning the type of play that you have to maintain until that whistle blows dead at this level, that it's really hard it's the biggest it's the biggest obstacle that I think every player that comes in this league has to learn to overcome is what the SEC strain is all about.
You mentioned that about when Hayden Chase Hayden played more. Was that a matter of just protections or just the two carries making you think that they could get around the end?
You know, rotation wise, I go over before the game what we were talking about doing, and obviously as the game unfolded, I was surprised he wasn't in there on more, and had a conversation with Coach Mitchell about that. I think the part that I get it, they were bringing some pressures, and he wanted to protect the quarterback. And as a young player, that's the area that you got to gain most. But on the same account, we just got to get him better at those things, because I think he gives us a really good opportunity when he's got the ball in his hands too. I like all three of our backs, and all three deserve an opportunity.
Brett, the inability to score twice inside the 5-yard line, what's the fix there?
Yeah, I think we got to get not that we got to get. We have to believe in what we do and do it, and just go ahead and do it, and not have reservations. I was very close, obviously, in both those situations to pulling the trigger and go. I go back to last year in the A&M game where we were in those. I went and we didn't get it, and ended up being a situation where you're like, man, I would have loved to have those two. So I go with what I believe we can have success at, and that's why I made those decisions. But I also, as a head coach or a play caller, we need to have confidence from what we've witnessed and what we've learned that we're going to go ahead and do this. And I think that's the directive that I, as a coach, need to say to our players and our coaches. Here's what it is. This is what we're going to do, and this is what we're going to do when this situation arises, and hopefully have a lot better results.
Defense wasn't perfect, but
yeah.
I mean, if you were told they were going to play like that, I think you'd probably take it.
I think more than anything was just their demeanor. I remember specifically when we missed the second field goal. I mean, I was gut punched, right, and I turned around, and on the field was literally almost, I think, every defensive starter just going crazy about let's take the field, let's take the opportunity, and I just can't say enough about the way that the defensive coaches have ignited their, I think, their ability to have confidence and play well against a team like that.
Who's your place kicker right now?
If we did a field goal right now, it'd be whoever does the best in the next 2 weeks. So we have a segment that we have at the beginning of practice today. At the end of practice, it'll be repeated again tomorrow. We'll do it again Tuesday, and we'll do it again Wednesday. And then whoever you see out there next Saturday at 11 will be their kicker.
Does that include Cole? And I asked
Yeah.
because I wondered,
Yeah.
after the game, I mean, you used words, I think, like ludicrous and juvenile.
Well, now see, no.
But I am
No.
curious if there was
I disagree with that. Someone asked me about the moment, and I said I made a comment that it was ludicrous to move. I didn't call him or juvenile, right? I didn't call him juvenile. You guys are writers. You can do it, all right? I said that it was juvenile, and then at one point I said I'm done with it. I didn't say I'm done with him. So I think the important thing is there's been no bigger supporter than Cole Hedlund and myself for 3 years, right? And I gave him the opportunity, and because of the results of what I saw Saturday, the chances of him being our kicker against A&M are very slim. But I will reserve judgment to see what I see the next 2 weeks to make Blake and Connor have as best opportunity as we can to see where they can be on Saturday. I go back to a year ago with Cole. I mean, he was really, really productive with practice numbers and accuracy and percentages. But when the crowd is live and when it's a live game environment, obviously those numbers don't reflect. So at games, I know the crowd's going to be there, so I have to make decisions based on that.
With the way social media is, how have you seen your kids react this week?
I don't understand that question. So the way to...
So much negativity on social media. How have you seen your kids react?
Again, I think when you're in it, you really, I don't know how much, and kids do social media. I get it. Obviously, people have reached out to me. I'm like, why is there something out there? I mean, I don't partake in it, So, I think what we always tell our kids is this, all right? If someone's commenting negatively about you or your program, obviously, you know, everybody's entitled to an opinion. They want what you want. Just every fan or anybody that's getting on our players or anybody that says anything about me or as a coach, understand we came here with all the same ideas as well. We want to be successful. We want to give success on Saturdays just as much as anybody, even tenfold. But today's world is mean, and it's just what it is. I mean, they see it on all different levels. So I don't think it makes our players react anyway. It probably unites rather than I just don't think people realize how much it means to an 18 to 21-year-old kid to get support. In today's world, it's just so different. Kids come from different family backgrounds, different environments, and support is not something that's very common. I just look out for people's well-being too. Christ Almighty, if you sit there and yell, scream, bloody murder, how bad you suck, you're going to carry that into your personal life. I mean, I feel bad for them. If they sat there and said, "Let's go Hogs," they might feel a little better. Might have better blood pressure, better color. When you get your face red from screaming, it's not a good thing. When it's negative, try to be positive. Might work for everybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.